There we go. It's working. Hello, 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 hello. Good night, everyone. Hope everyone's doing fine. It is Wednesday night, and we're gonna keep working the illustration from the last stream. For those who were there, for those who weren't there, we made the lining. Hello, Kalani. Good to see you here. We did the base colors, but I've been doing some research, and instead of going with the normal method I do for coloring, I'm gonna do something fancy, if you allow to say it, and I'm gonna work with grayscale first, and then I'm gonna apply some gradient maps and mess with it to test it. I got a lot of I got some gradients for free from a guy I follow, and then I'm gonna be testing them to see what kind of gradients we can work on and the possibilities we have with it. So first I'm gonna hide this layer here. It looks so odd now without it. This one here, I really went for yellow tone. I'm gonna hide this one here. I'm gonna hide the colors. Oops. I'm gonna hide the colors as well. I don't need those anymore, but I'm gonna keep them in a separate folder just in case. Sketches. And all that here I'm gonna put in a line folder. Line art. And the multiply to, I'm gonna send it here. Yes. Just need to. Let's see. No. Okay, I organized my layers for now. So I'm going to start checking the values of our reference image. So new layer, we put on the color mode and flow. Okay, we have a grayscale to check the tones, so we can see that we have a very light value. Hello, Lucius, good to see you. We have a very dark value here, almost pure black. Intermediate values, and so on. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna let me save this one here. Not save, sorry. Export. I'm gonna put this page here. Okay. Okay. And with this export, I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna bring window. Canvas. No. Let's dock. Will be to detail, workspace. I remember I have we can have a reference one. Subview, I think. Or not? Where's... Ah, found it. It's here on the corner. Can't you just copy and paste on the layers? It's more easy. I want to keep it in a way that you guys can follow along without me needing to change it every time. There we go. I think it's pretty neat to have this layer. For purposes of you guys following along what I'm doing, of course. So I made my new here outside. So I'm gonna start blocking a general tone for everything. I'm gonna work from that with layers still. So that way I can create masks for the gradient. So I'm gonna start with a light tone, not a light, but grayish tone, and start selecting here. I'm gonna start with a general one for the background. The more important one using here, the light. The lightest one I can use, of course. And right now I don't want to use texture on it. I'm gonna use the cube brush, because that way I can make it very big and it does not lag my Clip Studio as much. And I can easily correct afterwards too. It's always a good practice. Study values. It's something important to keep studying. I said I was gonna do the background first, and I started doing the face already. It's okay. Raining, not raining. Kaput. So let's make line here. Oops. Alright, I've been trying to do that here. I was trying to figure out a way to make a square brush, a square tip for the brush, for the eraser. But it didn't seem to work. So I believe oh it ended up being the way I wanted. I thought it didn't work. It probably I configured something wrong by the time. I can erase the values on the hair. Want to make it them again later with more precision. What the laser being essential both eyes open fish. That's why I made the pupils very contracted. But then jokes aside, I am setting the lightest value I can have in this general area, and then I'm gonna go with darker ones. First light, very light ones, then dark, and then the mid-tones. Okay. For the background, I think that's the lightest we can reach. The lightest we have so far. So now I'm gonna go with a very dark one. Start setting ambient occlusion and stuff. The darkest parts of the painting. Maybe more or less 1 hour. Depends on the level of detail I want to achieve. This illustration is at 4 hours already, considering the Don Quixote one was 13 hours. It's a half polish included. Yeah. Which will be the most time consuming? Not time consuming, but like time exploring will be the gradient maps, because I'm gonna, since I don't have a proper workflow with them, I want to mess around a lot and test many things. I believe I can achieve a very good balance using them to make to fill up faster and for portfolio and stuff like that. Oh yeah, no rush. I still can stream tomorrow too, and this Friday is not certain about stream. And I will, starting next week, I'll be streaming every day, every weekday. And during the weekends, I'll do my other stuff. So I got a lot of gradient maps actually. If I create a new layer for that here, gradient map. I set up to, oops, to open the wrong screen. I'm gonna put in something, for instance, and it looks very bad. But as soon as I swap here for soft light, we start reaching somewhere. And clicking here, I can swap it, and I got like thousands of those gradients from the guy. So if I have a good base value, I can work with very interesting colors. And of course I can always create my own values. And of course there's some refinement later too as well, but it's a start. If I get good at them, for concept art and exploring colors will be very useful. Of course, it's not like it's a time saver, but I still need to know like my values and stuff. Finish working on the piece. So it has a ludical experimentation value for me to keep learning techniques and stuff. I learned a technique to clean remember the general concern is to create your grades and over time. Yeah. I found a technique to clean up drawings, like hand painted sketches on things here, like let's say that we have it here. I have an example to show. I mean, I hope it works. If it doesn't, it's gonna be kind of but here here I have some hand studies I made, and it's very messy. So what I would do, I would duplicate the layer. I would put divide, so everything would disappear, and I would go here and I would apply a Gaussian blur. Look how if I enhance the strength, I get a cleaner line from the sketch I was working on, without needing to work a lot on Photoshop for it. So now I have a way clear way to see my sketch lines. Here's the comparison. Of course, it on this case it wasn't the best one, but it helps a lot and it's very interesting. So it's basically dark magic. I try to understand what happens, but it basically, the divide works with a certain light frequency, and the Gaussian blur distorts that. It's dark magic actually, but it's very interesting to clean up, especially to clean some like drafts and stuff. We can close this one here. So it's always important to keep learning stuff like that and testing. Should be good to make fluffy floating hair. Probably. I've been meaning to on the course I'm doing, they asked me to study a bit of composition. So I'll be on those composition studies, I will be painting vanitas, and that's nature basically. And I'll be making on paper, but I plan to eventually bring them to digital to talk about it with you all, and to practice my rendering skills. I can even use those gradients to work my values. Like I focus more on the values, and then with the gradients I go until I found a gradient that's enough for what we want. Let me do something here. Now we go here. Okay. The selection that is creating is not the general selection, is the in between lines. Let me use the colors for that. It's gonna be better. It should work. okay. There's one here that I need to keep though. That is this part here. So let me remove from the selection. Just so we don't cross too much. And as a matter of fact, I can do something here. Yeah, but oh, wait. That way I'm gonna need to do this other thing here. You can paint it on top of it again. With this here, I believe I can create a mask. And then okay, I can create a mask. And here on the mask I can I'm gonna keep it this way for now. Using that mask, I can work without worrying too much about the background. I mean, actually the foreground, that would be, I believe. I believe a bit of the light would reflect from the pillow to the thingy here. The what's the name? The bed sheets. Not much though. I like playing with values. Not the best on it, of course, but I pretty much enjoy it. Here I believe it would have a stronger shadow because it's created by the presence of my character and the blockage of the light here. Not that much, of course, but we are reaching somewhere. Depending on the results, I might even ditch the line art. Let's see how it goes. it's reaching something. Hello, Blacky. Good to see you. Technically speaking, if I were to make this pillow white, he would be way brighter, even in a more darker ambience, and hence why the pillow, or being a light, that works for any color in general. Lighter colors, let's say light yellow, light green, white, light blue, they reflect more color. And darker tones like dark green, black, sea blue, and stuff like that, those they absorb more energy. So it's important to think that with the small amount of energy of light we are having, the light tones are gonna be very screaming because it's a very focal light. And even if it were almost no light in the ambience, you can tell, like if you are very early in the morning and look to brighter objects, it's gonna be the lighter color ones, or the ones that have light by themselves, of course. So that affects the value. So I'm doing a pillowcase more lighter because I might make it white itself. So I'm applying clear value with small variation enough to give an angle and a three-dimensionality for the pillow. Like if I hide my line here, we still can understand the general shape of the bathroom. And since my focal point of the painting, of this illustration, is the character itself, we are working with darker tones on the outside. So that way we can enhance our focal point to something we want. In that case, focus on the character. Other thing to note is that colors towards the edge are usually more brighter, or lighter if you prefer. So we can go with a lighter value on the edges here of the blanket and the bed itself. Where is the strength of a good value? Showing something as a concept, making you being able to understand what's happening on the painting picture, composition, silhouettes. Like, if I were to show you that here, let's ignore that the character does not have yet, we can understand it's a bedroom. So the general idea is is being represented to those values. The value is like if you were to paint your project with only black and white and gray tones. Of course, it's more than that, but it helps to understand the reason behind colors and how to work better with colors too. Saturation, desaturation, temperature, all of that can be worked with values. I always say that the soft brush is your best friend now to make those, because you can make a lot of variations with the pressure you apply to it. I think for the background, I just need to work more on the left to the right side here. And then, yeah, I think I still need to do some minor adjustments, but I can do that later. Yeah, I think we reached a quite reasonable point. I'm just gonna add a bit of ambient occlusion here on where the bed encounters the wall, because that way we can make a better, what's the word? A better color, a better color demonstration? No, better color distinction. Yeah, I believe we can work with those values here as I start for the background. Let's go make the character now. For the character, I'm gonna make the same thing I did it here. I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna invert, and I'm gonna make that in a mask. Wow. So now I go here, and the powerful masking working. It's very interesting that we can make many stuff like that with masking, with the masks. So start, we would have here on the hand, and the same rule applies from big to small. Remember that shadows can have like hard cuts here, or a hard edge if you prefer. But on the start, they have a softer edge. Now, when I start adding darker tones for the character itself, for myself, and start having a shape figure more visible. You don't need to worry about having a messy painting here with the values for now. You can always fix it later. Plus, that's the magic of experimentation. And make a lot of stuff, and if you don't like it, you go like, okay, and make it again. I can always go back and start rendering the usual AI render. Here we're gonna have a bit of shadow projected by the nose. Here we have the shadow from the jaw line. And here we have a bit of occlusion and default shadow. It's important to remember that we're still dealing with 3D objects. So even in dark, unless it's pitch black dark, we still have some light reflections and stuff. So it's important to give that 3D feeling to our drawing. Especially here in the arms. We can, let's say, the arm is nothing but a cylinder. So you can go around with that and make some changes, and if you simplify what you are seeing, it's way better to understand it. Simplify, I mean decompose the geometry. And it's important to remember where you, like here, if arms touch, or like if two objects touch, they are gonna create a bit of occlusion, unless you are dealing with like studio lighting, but then that's a more exception than a rule. Otherwise you're gonna be doing way more normal stuff here. And then you can go with cell shading if you like it, cell shading more, or soft shading. I'm doing soft shading here because I think it's gonna fit better for this piece. But you are free to do whatever you want with your art. It's important to remember that. That's the biggest point, actually. Of course, there's a monetary thing and so on. Hence why I'm streaming here. But it's important to have fun and enjoy the moment. Even with the strong light here, I want to add shadows for the fingers, because I think it's gonna add some interesting detailing. And remember that the skin is a bit reflective. Not that much, of course, but just a tiny bit. We are getting somewhere. But I probably will keep the line art still. It's always important to make an evaluation. Yes, it's way big. It's back with my tea looking good. Thank you. And yes, it's still a bit more lighter than the reference, but I will still work a bit more with the values and go still here and like yoink and still make it a bit darker if needed. But I'm gonna do that when I have the colors, because I don't want to make it and I want to see with the colors, or at least with the character, finish it or close to that. The meshing the lines is a good idea. I probably will make, oops, wrong layer, a mix of both, or even like make lines the same color as the, like a darker tone but not like gray or black, make like skin tone plus 2. That's really a good color to merge with one. Yes. Each painting illustration I've been working on, I always experiment something new, or keep trying experimenting at least. I feel awkward making organ square brush like it was on armor poker. It doesn't feel much. Many of my things I actually already use square or actually like rectangular shapes. My favorite brush to paint from Sebege, where is it? Texture is a rectangular brush. I think it's a matter of getting used to. I like it because I can fill a big gap now and make like, if I need to make a rectangular thingy, I can make it, but if I need to make it round, I can make it round still. So I think it's a matter of like getting used to it. Of course, there are some times I need to use the round brush, but not gonna lie, sometimes I feel it's more my mood than like necessity. For inking, it's rare for me to use square brushes. But I didn't click it yet with a brush shape that I personally like it. At least for inking. Sometimes the square works fine, sometimes the round works fine, sometimes I use a triangular one. But I didn't found one that I really like, oh, this is the one. Here the artists that use cubic brush. That's a thing I heard many years ago. And I thought it was pretty funny. Sometimes the face can be a good brush, don't know. I saw a guy that uses House's face as a brush. So it's a matter of getting used to, I believe. Here I want like a smooth transition. Yeah, people can make many things. Sometimes feels that those people are nerfing themselves with chance to the others. too dark here. For values, I believe here that's a good place to stop with values. I'm gonna dupe those layers. Okay. I'm gonna send them to a folder just in case I need to redo something. Okay. And I'm gonna start. First, let's make it darker. No, let's apply our gradients first, or things. You already have something here. Okay. We can put in overlay. I'm gonna refine the values and the other things later. I like soft light for that here. Now it's gonna be a lot of like try and error. A lot of experimentation happening here. Let me think. I'm gonna start with this scenario first, I believe. I believe I'm doing something wrong here. Give me a second. A lot of possibilities. The problem with many possibilities is that you're starting to get lost what to do or what not. Let me take a look here on something. Okay. I'm not doing anything wrong, I'm just not being patient and thinking enough. Let me okay, so what we're going to be doing here, mashups, not mashups, masks. So let's say I want a red gradient on my pillow. Actually, this one. Oh, I can't. Wait. Wait, the mask is something wrong. Oh, Jesus, okay. Gotcha. Okay. I am making a mask. So that way I can apply the gradient only to one thing here, in that case the pillow. But for some reason the gradient that this gradient okay, selection, create selection. I'm gonna delete this mask. One invert. You push. There we go. Basically, I'm working with masks to control better where the gradients should be. So it's the fine tuning, because that way I can, let's say I want to change this gradient here for the pillow. It's changing the character, of course, because I made a lazy mask, but I still have a lot of control. That way I can apply the effect I want. I can apply the effect I want from the gradient I want, making up to enhance the amount of possibilities I have. So the idea is to work with multiple things. I can close that here, by the way. Okay. In an ideal world, I would have done a better way to make my masks. But I didn't. And this one here I want warmer. The gears are grinding. I think. Okay. Okay, I am understanding. That here. Okay. So this one, gonna make it in for the body. One for the body. Let's just adjust some minor details. that here, those gradients don't interfere each other in a normal layer. They do if I don't use the clipping masks. So basically, let me apply this one here. So this one here for the skin, as you can see, is over the sun one. So I need to put it down here. And they still interfere if I put here on soft light. What is soft light? What's the soft light do? Basically preserves the values under it. You could use multiply depending of your intent. You can use color, and here you can see on the color one even better that how it preserves the values. Because if I were to use a normal layer, it's not quite following the values. So we gonna keep it in color. Here I have a better use of my values, but if I were to make a normal gradient, let's say gonna hide them, and let's make a default gradient. You see how it ignores everything I did? So let's say I'm gonna make another one here. So if I put here on color, it shows nothing because it's white on white. I'm a genius. Yes. Sometimes my brain scares me. I'm gonna pick up the rainbow one. Here. You can see on color here that we still have the variation from the detail, from the values. So now for a practical demonstration, let me remove the pressure on this one. I pick it up here. Technically, it's quite the same, but not the same ones, because here you can see that it created different colors on the palette. Let me see if I can find a better example. Here we should have, we can see the color difference from our values. So of course the rainbow one is not worth for that, but with the gradient maps I can create here, for instance, a quote-unquote self-shading situation, like here with the skin tone one. This one's soft light, normal. Okay, this one needs to change it to color. Didn't look at good. Soft light now looks better. So here we have variation of how the light is affecting the down colors, which are affected again by the values. So I could be doing all that by hand, but I am instead speeding up my process. Like, of course, my character is very defined, my colors. So, but let's say I don't know. Actually, I might have an example. Wait. I'm gonna pick up a random image here from the internet. Okay, this one has good values. So, okay, we have here a value painting. Basically, it's a charcoal drawing, but let's consider it that you did the values for your painting, and as a concept artist I told you to make variations of those colors. Instead of just simply coming here and going like creating a layer, putting the layer in color, painting it red, and having a reddish variation of what you are doing, we have a situation where let's say I want this thing here to have a green color, this lemon. You create a correction layer that this tool exists on Photoshop, create, but it's weird, and here on Clip Studio. And I created here. Okay, Leafery is a green one. Now looks terrible. But if I come here and apply the color or the soft light, we have a pier that I can control the colors as I please. Oh, I want more yellow on it. Okay, I come here and add yellow and work with the values of the gradient. To make a yellowish. I'm gonna make this one yellow too. No, let's make it orange. Okay. Put it here, transition here, you here. Oh, that's green. Okay, that's I'm gonna put bright pink, whatever. You see how you can like make the masks and simply have it, let's say, oh, I made the pink variation. Okay, now I want to make the thermographic variation. I want to make the cool and warm situation. I barely see it. FaceTime. Crimson Seeds. I love the names. So that optimizes and can skip the guessing work sometimes. Like, let's say I didn't made a color study before doing this project here, this charcoal drawing, and later I want to paint it. Here I have a white okay color for a lemon. Then we can say here I want this other one to be the same. I go here, wow, and I add it to the mask, and I can make as many masks as I want, or my pieces holds it, and you can make any gradient. Like let's say unless you save over it, you don't lose your gradient. So let's say I'm gonna pick up this somber yellow, but I'm gonna start making psychedelic. I'll make this one blue. I'm gonna adjust a bit so it shows. The lightest color is gonna be white, so I'm gonna make it red. Bring it a bit here. And that's it, basically. You can make a lot of variations of the same object. And that's the trick part. You can save a lot of time coloring or guessing work, or you can make like, oh, the background, I want to make the background a forest. You can use one of those for the trees. And get quite reasonable results. If your values are like the best thing you did, if you work very well with values, you can make it very cool illustrations and variations of the same illustration. That's the magic of those gradient maps. Later you can come with a adjustment tool and okay. Let me adjust a bit because I didn't like that dark tone. So it comes to gray tone here. Don't want that. Brown. Sorry, I nerded about it. Let me take a look on something here. Ooh, found it. Let's hope it's free. It's free. Let's go. I found here something. Okay, so where it would be? Where I would find that here. There we go. I found a skin tone map. So now I can easily come here and choose the one that suits better my necessity. Oops, exclusion don't work here.
Tá mostrando pomada azul?
Okay. Okay, my hair is blue since the last time I checked it. Therefore, I'm gonna make it in a bluish tone, and then later I can reworking on it. Neon hair. Gonna use the sky one probably. Something that oops, not lighter color, sorry. Multiply gets too dark. color gets too bright, soft light. The sunset actually looked very cool if I would to be red hair. But that shows too how wrong my values are. I'm gonna rework on that later. Oh, ooh, we passed 2 hours of string already. I'm gonna make one for my beret and underwear, and a quick one for my for the bed sheets, and then I'm gonna finish the string and finish working on gradients of string, and then tomorrow we finish the details of it. Not something that to go. Ooh, wait. The beret looks very good actually. The top not so much. I can't get over the names, they are very funny. That's progress, nonetheless. stop this stream here. Thank you for everyone who could watch it. Good night, and see you all tomorrow.